When I see Africa and I see youth, I see a lot of smart people, I see a lot of people that have done or can do so much more than I can do, so much smarter, more athletic, better in basketball, better in business, better in so many things. It's just that little pathway that they need. And if I have that opportunity, for me, it's an obligation to come back and help and to be part of the continent.
What we are most proud of is to give opportunity to young players in Africa to play professionally without necessarily having to go somewhere else.
There's a pathway. Nigeria has the most talent in the world when it comes to athletics, in sprinting particularly.
The less pretense we have in this thing because we're dealing with youth. We're dealing with unbelievable sport that brings us all together. But this is the future of where the continent is going.
Countries who are really serious about using athletics and using sports to transform the nation, to transform the image, are getting to business with that. We saw it with Jamaica 25, 30 years ago. They decided, you know what, let's stop sending all of our kids to the American collegiate system. Let's train them at home. Let's train them to win at the Olympics, right? And that was the birth of Asafa Powell being the first 100-meter record holder, Usain Bolt, and all the top athletes over the last couple of decades. And what's interesting is that in Africa, countries are now borrowing that same model Jamaica used to do it themselves. Botswana just won their first world title in the 4x400 meters, first world champion in 400 meters, first African to do that, the 4x4, first Africans. So they're doing the same thing, investing at home and really showing the way for Africa.
When you get opportunity to work in the NBA. There are people that help you along the way, and there are people that get you through adversity, get you through the tough times, and get you through the climb. And if I have that opportunity to create, because of the platform, many people have helped me get, whether it's the MBA or friends or people that helped us climb to where we are. For me, it's an obligation to come back and help and to be part of the continent.
Very exciting journey in terms of really being able to, in Africa, starting in the middle of the pandemic in 2021, this very ambitious project because beyond the game and beyond basketball, what we're looking to do with the Basketball Africa League is to create an economic growth engine for the continent. I think for many decades we've seen and talked about the transformative power of sport as a conduit, from a social impact standpoint, from a community development standpoint, from a youth empowerment standpoint. But now with the league, we are really looking to build an industry, around basketball.
One of our top athletes who we recruited in 2016, so it's been almost a decade, Amadou Ujiri, he was a great national youth champion in 400 meters. He joined us in 2016. Today, he's a two-time Olympian, won a lot of medals for Nigeria in the African Games, African Championships. It sounds great when you say all that, but when you look under the hood, how have we been able to get him to this point? It's been quite a journey.
I'll tell you, sometimes it feels to me like you always feel like you're not doing enough. That's what makes me lose sleep at night, because if you help, we're Africans, if you help here, this one wants help. If you help there, this one wants a hand. If you want here, help here, this one wants And that's our culture, you know, like, so I don't fault us for that, you know, like, but when you reach a certain part, what tears you is you're trying to help a lot of people, you know, like, and sometimes you can't do it, but it is an obligation and a responsibility for me. Winning, yeah, winning in life, you win in life, you win on the court, you win off the court, and as you do it, you bring people along.
Just like with anything, there are no quick fixes, you know, so the reason we are where we are today with the Basketball Africa League and why we are confident when we talk about building the league into one of the best professional basketball league in the world is because we have a long-term commitment and we've been at this for decades. You know, we not just following our passion, but at the same time making sure, you know, we can rely on the NBA's best-in-class expertise in terms of operating and commercializing a professional, you know, basketball league. If you're committed, and you gotta just be able to have a, you know, stick to it mentality, and also have a purpose with it. We overlay what we do with our deep commitment to showcasing what Africa can offer to the world. You know, we have some of the best talent across, whether it's in sports, in music, in fashion, in film increasingly. How do we make sure that, you know, we you know, raise the standards and put all this together in a very bold and ambitious way? And I think anybody would want to, you know, when I say support, would want to invest.
You guys have had such amazing pioneering careers in sports, from playing in the NBA to playing in college as the SWA, and of course the Afrobasket, but not just Afrobasket, like 5 times champions, right? So this is amazing. So on your journeys, was there a defining moment when you felt like sports is not just about competition, but it's actually something that's a pathway for development?
Say my defining moment was the London 2012 Olympics. But I played for Great Britain. And that was one of the first times I realized the influence that I had, the impact that I had on the African community, the greater African community, because I was getting messages from people. This was 13 years ago, so it was Facebook messages. You guys understand that not everybody's going to make it to the NBA, but creating an ecosystem that allows them to develop, whether it be on the court or off the court, is, you know, one of the reasons why, it's one of my purposes. And I left my job at the NBA to do so. That's how much I believe in Africa. I believe in the hope of Africa. I believe in the growth and the development of Africa. But as I've been seeing a lot this week, we can't continue to do it siloed. We have to do it together, and we have to continue to work together. I just found out that SWA does the exact same thing as we're doing in Ghana, and that we need to be collaborating and doing these things. So, you know, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have these conversations. I really hope they lead to action and execution.
And I think the defining moment for me was when I was going to my first AU trip. Again, I'm in New York, I'm going to Virginia. And my entire family, my mom has 44 siblings, and you know, obviously different wives. About 20 of them showed up, and I'm on my AU team, right? It's my first trip away, and they're all there, and just like making the prayers and doing the walk, you know, like, oh, you know, be careful, you know, you are represent the family, talk. And my teammates jump out the car and like, Tuli brought the whole tribe.
You are a fully accomplished doctor, former basketball player, as we've already talked about, and you're also a mother. How have you sustained resilience as an athlete who's also not an athlete on your journey?
Despite my current situation, if I did have an opportunity, I was definitely going to be prepared for it. And as they say, when preparation meets opportunity, success usually follows. And that is the guiding principle that I've been able to live by in my entire career. And as well as, family support. You can't do much, without, like your tribe, your village. And I've been truly blessed and thankful to have the support of my family, my relatives, my husband, and I have a little baby cheering me on, rooting me on. And he's my motivation to keep getting up and keep working out. So it's just a mixture of the love of basketball and just like the love and support from my family.
So I wanted to ask, we see time and time again, a lot of women in sports continue to experience gender-based violence and intimate partner violence, as we've seen recently in Kenya and Uganda. So when you're engaging young women and boys, are you integrating GBV programming as you empower these young people?
Growing up, I wasn't comfortable being African. It wasn't cool. I wouldn't embrace it. I didn't feel comfortable boasting my Ghanaian heritage, and I tried to hide it, but I was a foot taller than everybody else, 10 shades darker. So it was really difficult for me. So even if there was a Ghanaian team when I was 12 to 13, I probably wouldn't have felt comfortable playing for it. But I feel like our purpose is to shorten that curve. Our purpose is to put those ecosystems in place that allow the 12-year-old me to feel comfortable. To feel comfortable knowing that you're Ghanaian, knowing that you're African, knowing that you have beauty and power behind your culture, and that having that nation on your back there's nothing better than it. I felt great playing for Great Britain, but there was a little sense of I'm helping somebody else's country. I was grateful to have grown up there and for my life to have been there, but when you create those pathways and those opportunities, that's when the comfortability comes.
I think it's really important that, and I don't know who can speak to it, that we remember that sport is a business, and that if we have an interest in sport and we have a passion for sport, our children and the next generation can still be involved at the highest level in sport and really compete, because we need to build these infrastructures and we need more proxies and more Masais and more Sandrines and more, and more Amadous as well. So just don't feel disheartened if we're not going to make it on the pitch, the court, on the pool, on the track, because you can make it in the boardroom, you can make it on the
Hi everyone. If you've had the week that I've had, then surely this is like your 50th event this week. But you took time out of your very busy schedules to be here, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much, and thank you for engaging. When I started SWA 3 years ago, it was out of pure passion for the game of basketball. I was purely inspired by the growth of the NBA into Africa, by the works of Masai Ujiri and the incredible other Africans that have been toiling for the last decade to establish themselves as elite athletes. I was inspired by this, and we wanted to play a role in creating solutions around how the sector can be developed on the continent with the aid of credible agents like us. So we identified that pipeline, and we decided to set up SWA as the channel by which athletes or professionals that are based outside of the continent have credible consultants like us that can design and implement high-impact projects on the continent around the games of basketball, American football / flag football, and combat sports. And for the last 3 years, we've been able to design multiple programs that have looked like live sporting events, scalable conferences, workshops, clinics, and in the long run, we look to venture into infrastructure development, among other things. The sky really is the limit.
Creating more bridges and more conversations like this, right? Inviting those who may be interested. And obviously the educational piece, whether it's online or through universities, I think we need to be talking about this at larger scales. And I think education is a key component to that, all of the things that they do. So Aisha, thank you for your work on the continent and all the great things that you will do. And so I think partnerships are really important, but I think the intention has to be good. Because I think so many of us can talk about partnerships who have fell through, but what's the vision for this, right? And it's not, one time we're gonna give you a bunch of money, but come back, be rooted in this community, be rooted in sustainability and its growth, and its long-term plan and development. And so for me, it has, made so many dreams come true. We now have safe spaces where our girls can go and to play and to dream and feel like I'm pursuing this every day. At least I'm somewhere where I think, especially as an African woman, I'm pouring into myself. When I'm working out, that's me time. And I think we forget how to move, we forget how to play, especially for our young people. So with those partnerships, being really intentional about this is a safe space for our girls to play, learn, develop, and we're gonna have programming outside of sport on this. This is a community haven where everyone is welcome.
I feel it's bestowed upon us to make sure that we equip this next generation with the necessary tools, not with opportunities, with the tools and the skills to succeed in this world.
First of all, congratulations, Aisha, on a great event. I'm already feeling like right at home because I see people, I see togetherness, I see, this is action, already from where I know Aisha has always been and what she's always talked about. But there's a lot of talk. We all have a lot of talk, and who walks the walk. And even when you're just starting something, people are young in building, whether it's businesses or foundations or organizations, the passion shows. And the people that show the passion, the people that show the drive, the less pretense we have in this thing because we're dealing with youth. We're dealing with unbelievable sport that brings us all together. And then this is the future of where the continent is going.